Mr. Naruhodo, you must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leaning against us again. Like for the 5th time now. And this may be our last chance to gain the advantage. Look at that face. He's had it. Ooh, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am the Story-Driven Gamer, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are hopping back into the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Last time we continued the investigation, the second investigation of the second chapter, and we learned a lot. You know, 2 episodes ago we had just gotten a few pieces of evidence that kind of revealed some things, you know, briefly, but we got more information by, you know, by talking to Natsume, Mr. Garradev, Miss Green herself even. They filled in some more gaps for us, so we learned about Selden, which was like that escaped convict. We found out that he was a lodger in Garradev's, you know, building at one point. But then he, you know, he got arrested. We know his fate from the article. He died in prison. But then everybody who has had his room, you know, after him has overcome, you know, some fate has fallen upon them. Whether it's death. We learned about I keep forgetting Ross Duncan or Duncan Ross. One of the I keep forgetting the order. Ross Duncan probably, right? Sounds correct. But anyway, we found out about him. He was the guy in the picture with Garradev in one of the pieces of evidence we found. And yeah, it turns out he died. He died in an unfortunate death. We also found out that he was in love with... It was a mutual between him and Miss Green. I don't know if they were actually, like, in a relationship, but they were... they definitely liked each other. We'll get to that. We'll get to that more in a moment. But yeah, and then now Natsume is the one who has that room, and obviously we know he's been talking about the curse, right? He talked about, like, you know, being choked out and whatnot. We also found out how Ross Duncan died, right? There was a gas leak, which might fall in line with what I was saying. I mean, I don't know if that, like, there was poison in the gas. I don't know if that necessarily has any merit. Because, I mean, a gas leak could kill you, poison or no poison, it would just suffocate you, right? So, I don't know. I feel like they would have been able to... They would be able to deduce that that was the cause of death. You know, asphyxiation from gas as opposed to poison. They'd probably be 2 totally different things, so... But that's how Ross Duncan died. Doesn't mean that's what happened to Shamspear. They're 2 separate incidences. But yeah, the curse of Selden was brought up, so... You know, I don't know what that's about. I don't know if there's actually somebody else, you know, I had said maybe Selden's alive. I don't know if that has any merit whatsoever. But instead of, like, the curse of Selden killing people, if Selden himself is around killing people, who knows? There's a lot of theories. I don't have any answers yet, so that's all I got. So let's hop it back into the game. We're about to start the probably the last trial of this case. That would be my guess. So, let's get started. 23rd of February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber. This is always where it starts. Oh, gosh! Get out of my face, Natsume! Close. Personal space, buddy. Okay, this is an awkward atmosphere. This is it then, Mr. Naruhodo. Cue the music. It was getting too quiet in here. Yes, it's time to put an end to this now. To the miserable curse that has been plaguing Mr. Natsume. To everything. And in my own small way, I shall do everything I can to help you. As you always do, Suzuto. You are the ultimate assistant after all. Just like, what's her face? Sayaka in Danganronpa. The ultimate assistant. Except you're not psychic. I always appreciate your help, Miss Suzuto. Suffering, Sozuki selfishly sidelined. Ah! Sorry, we didn't mean to. Good morning to you too, Mr. Natsume. It looked like you were trying to ignore our existence again. Good morning! Good morning, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Listen to you two chatting away happily as if the main player of today's trial isn't here. Why would you do that? Why? Oh dear. We didn't mean to cause offense, Mr. Natsume. I think we broke him. I thought perhaps that because you had your eyes shut so tightly, you were meditating, finding inner calm. I think he was doing what he did last episode and he was trying to escape reality again. It seemed wrong to disturb you. I was waiting! What's the matter, what's the matter, Mr. Natsume? You seem different somehow today. Nah, I honestly wasn't paying attention. Why, naturally, that's because I've attained spiritual enlightenment. The path of literature, you see, is a journey to discover one's own death. Or such like. That's the sort of morning conversation I was hoping for. That's why I had my eyes shut. Sorry to disappoint you. I missed the signs, I'm afraid. I missed all the cues, somehow. You'll have to forgive me. And you mustn't talk of your path leading you to death, Mr. Natsume. That was just an example. Oh yes, there it is. Inner calm. Yeah, okay. If there's one thing that defines, Natsume, it's calm. You barely came to see me at all yesterday. I was sure you'd abandon me and return to our beautiful long-lost homeland. I was thinking about it, but no, I'm kidding. We've never even been in Great Britain a week yet. Oh, sorry, we've not even been in Great Britain a week yet. Yes, well, anyway, moving on. I intend to set everything straight in court today. I'm determined to uncover the truth. That got your attention, did it? I've actually reached an important decision myself. Oh? What sort of decision? He pulls out the glass of poison. Time to die! Shoves it down. Ugh. I shall fill you in after the trial. Oh, okay then. Might be too late. I mean, no, we got this. Alright? I always get nervous when somebody has some kind of information or something to say and they're like, we'll do it later. It's like, no, you tell me now. Tell me right now. It would seem Mr. Sholmes isn't coming today after all. Oh, that's right. He was like, I'll be there. Maybe. Somewhat. If I feel like it. It's a very clever message, I think. My dear... let me do it. Sholmes' impression in her voice. My dear fellows, you must win this battle on your own merits. That just sounded like my generic female, whatchamacallit? Female, British voice. It's a very clear message, I think. That he's overslept again. Most likely. The great detective, my arch nemesis. That's true. Maybe it's a good thing he didn't come. Long may he stay away, if you ask my opinion. Defendant and your legal representative. The trial is about to begin. Make your way into the courtroom immediately. Ah! You got it, Mr. Bailiff. Today, once again, we face the Reaper. The Grim Reaper. And when the Reaper stands for the prosecution, the defendant's fate is sealed. I don't believe in that legend any more than I believe in Sozuki-san's curse. The truth is hidden here somewhere, and I won't let it escape me. I have to keep believing in my client and keep fighting to the very end. That's all. Let's do this, Ryunosuke. I always get so pumped right before a trial. And then my ego gets deflated if I do poorly. 23rd of February, 9:40 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. Do you like my Dracula cosplay? Yes, the defense is ready. Very good. And now I call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury, chosen by lot to represent the will of the people in this trial. Chosen by lot, and yet luck has it that they are mostly the same jury we've always had. Absolutely. Justice will be done, you mark my words. I feel obliged to say I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat is sitting just right. Is that today? Oh, Well, I wonder if you could adjust my hat for me. And please, be as ruthless as you like. Haha! Thieves deserve to die, if you ask me. Especially gas thieves. I've no sympathy for the man at all.
Look, I said it yesterday and I'll say it again now. I don't have time for this. I've got my own problems.
Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here, and lead his flock to a righteous verdict again today. Got interesting characters, as usual.
Now, Lord Van Zykes, what can you tell us?
Sorry, I dozed off. What was that?
The prosecution's report, please, for the court. In relation to the theory expounded by the defense yesterday regarding the defendant's tea.
So he does have the results. Ah, yes. Give it to me straight. He's just been drinking poison the whole time. That's what's in that bottle. Before the prosecution delivers the black news about the tea, about the black tea belonging to the blackguard in the dock. Pray, allow me a moment to savor a liquid of a more sanguine hue. In fact, I'll defer to the good detective for the report. Here's to you, Inspector.
What? Me? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As indicated by the defense, we found a bar of soap just outside the victim's window in the snow. And there was indeed a frozen reddish liquid in a little depression on top of it.
That would be the tea. Yes, that's the tea. That's what Mr. Natsume brought with him that night. So, what's the verdict?
Well, the brains at the yard analyzed it, and yes, you're right, it was tea.
Okay.
And there wasn't and there wasn't a trace of strychnine or any other toxic substance in it.
No poison at all?
In other words, the tea that the defendant brought with him to the victim's room is innocent. It's in the clear. What a revelation!
Okay. As I suspected. Yeah, I don't know why I said, oh no. In retrospect, I'm like, that's what we wanted. We wanted there to be no tea in the you know, in the cup at all, or no tea at the scene, so. Good, yay! This makes it quite clear. The defendant, Mr. Sosuke Natsume, is blameless here. My learned friend is jumping to conclusions again. A typical Nipponese reaction. I don't think so, but go on. What? Yes, it's true no poison was found in the few drops of liquid recovered from the soap on the window ledge. So he's gonna probably assert that there was no tea in the soap, but there's no reason to think that tea was the same tea as Shamspeare, that's his name, what he drank, or something? But what logic is that? Would you take a drop from the Thames and conclude that the water in the ocean isn't salty? Yeah, you're saying that's a different source.
My word! The water in the ocean is extremely salty, Counsel!
Shazar! Exactly, my point. Unfit for drinking, just as the victim's tea was on the night in question, as the court has already heard. Bitter was the precise word from the lips of Mr. William Shamspeare, whom the prosecution now calls back to the stand. Here we go. He's getting a lot of screen time.
Very well, I will oppose the prosecution's request.
Mr. Shamspeare. Yes, it sounds like we're going to have another confrontation with our theatrical friend.
Bailiff, show Mr. Shamspeare to the stand.
I really do wonder what his role is in all this, because he's definitely hiding something, a darker side to him. Mr. William Shamspeare, the victim of this despicable crime. Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember? Forsooth, 'twas I, Shamspeare, did have a bellyful of the foul fluid given, in mine innocence.
Speak English, young man. Yes, but as was revealed in yesterday's proceedings, the witness is not as innocent as we had perhaps first been led to believe.
True that. By using bars of soap such as this, he has been stealing gas from the supply company, yes. One may smile and smile, and be a villain. Could you be any more theatrical, sir? Forsooth, 'twas I, Shamspear, did have a roomful of the sweet fuel given.
That's right. Fellow jurors, don't forget, this man is a rotten thief. Guilty! I haven't forgotten. Kept all that about the ice cones a tidy secret, didn't you? You should have opened up sooner.
Arrest him, I say! Arrest him at once, and let him feel the sting in my tail! Do it, everybody! Beat him up! Kill him! Oh, indeed! By dint of vile and cowardly means have I plotted to further mine own ends? I confess. Thou wilt not pardon my sins, of that I am sure. He's not in the clear. I feel like that's a red herring, like the fact that he's like the victim. I said before he might... Maybe there's some kind of faking going on. Maybe he's trying to frame Mr. Natsume. If you acknowledge your wrongdoing, what exactly are you doing here? Cowards die many times before their deaths. And for a coward such as I, death be well deserved. But... Oh, there's a but. When it's still that a greater crime passeth unpunished. For lo, the hairy-faced gentleman of farther east than Verona did contrive to poison me. Oh! This is my special dance here. I like how that's his Shamspear dance. Very eloquent. But there was no poison in the tea found in your room. The police have attested to that. What the defense would assert as an inconsistency will quickly be cleared up by the witness's testimony. Is that not so? Is that not so, Mr. Shamspear? Verily, my liege, I would most gladly speak.
Okay. Shut up, everyone. Very well. Let the witness testify to explain this inconsistency. Tell the court why it is that the poison apparently entered your body, though none was found in the tea.
Let's see what he has to say for himself. Witness testimony. The tea inconsistency. Let's see. The Japanese man did come to my chamber with tea brewed in a pot. Okay, so it's in a big pot now. 'Twas in my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Okay, in your cup alone. I'm already gonna check something. Okay, I mean that does... Yeah, there's no tea ring on the inside of Mr. Natsume's cup, so that does... I guess that's true. Whilst feigning distraction in our debate, ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice. Okay. Wait, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice. Oh, I see what he's getting at, okay. Oh, so, okay, so he's saying he poured the tea from the pot only into his, but he still had his own tea. Because then he's saying he used the tea from his own cup to make the coins of ice. But that could be a lie, because I guess what we're getting at is he didn't have... So, the second cup didn't have any tea in it at all. Okay. Thus, 'tis no surprise that poison be not found in the tea I did pour into the molds of soap. Okay, I already see some inconsistencies. The poison would slip into the cup after the tea had been poured. The normal way for poison to be administered, in my experience.
Quite. Otherwise, it would be disastrous if the poisoner were to mix up the cups, for instance.
But no poison bottle was found at the scene. Because quite simply, the Nipponese took the bottle back to his own room. Did you find it there? The absence of a vessel containing the poison only becomes problematic when considering suicide. I knew that. By now it should be perfectly clear. A bar or two of cheap soap is wholly insufficient to wash the deepest stains of guilt from the accused's hands. Ah! Damn it all. Sirs, madams, 'tis true that I, Shamspear, be a common thief of gas. But, listen here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. Let me just straighten that out. Ah, much better. Hee. Wherefore would I lie? Verily, I have no cause. I have naught to lose. Because he's the victim. Well, I do declare. Oh my god. Isn't that kind of the catchphrase I've given that specific juror? I do declare. I know I've said it before with her.
Thank you for your testimony, witness. Counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Right away, your highness. Okay, so let me read through this again to make sure I'm understanding it, because I was a little confused what they were saying. So the Japanese man came to his chamber with the pot. I got that. So it was only in his cup alone. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. He's saying it was in his cup alone that the poison was, administered. Which makes sense. Yeah. I thought he was saying that he poured the tea from the pot only in his cup. Okay. That's where I misunderstood. Whilst feigning distraction or debate, narrated a drop of his own drink past his lips. So he's saying he never drank from his cup. When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup. I think that's what we need to, Yeah, I kind of want to press him on this. I often jump the gun, and I always get nervous about that, but it's saying right here, when he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup, and like I said, there's no, tea ring, so it doesn't look like there was a second cup. It says there's no tea ring on the inside of Mr. Natsume's cup, which would imply no tea in there. Let's press him on this first. And then I think I'm going to try just presenting it and see what happens. Yes, so that you could cheat the gas company, in fact. Isn't that right? To cheat, or to die, 'tis life's only choice. Yes, right. Okay, buddy. Faith, to cheat be the wise choice, and mine occupation be not an ugly one. Prithee, dost thou not see beauty in the simplicity of the ruse? No, I don't, and be very sure, sir, once this trial is over, Altamont Gas will take you to task over this legal task. I shall not run, I shall not hide. Sooth to say, I have nowhere to run, nor to hide. Okay, Mr. Theatrics. But my lady, talk to the hand. What wouldst thou with this pitiful player? Oh, I'll tell you what I'd like to do with you, starting with the shorty shirt on your back. Oh yeah, that's the dance, that's right. 'Tis time for a Shakespeare dance. Distraction, distraction, distraction. Oh, what were we talking about? I don't remember. Oh. I think that's enough. What a harsh world we live in. I swear a lot of these characters are getting the really high voice. The thieving of the gas was addressed in yesterday's proceedings. The prosecution called on the defense not to muddy the waters with irrelevancy.
Consider that a warning, counsel.
Got it. Yes, my lord. Might be. Why am I the one in trouble here? Mr. Shakespeare, after the accused returned to his own lodgings, used his tea to make your coins. Is that correct? To cheat or to die? I did make my choice many moons ago. Okay, we're gonna go for it. Okay.
Objection.
Yes! You claim that Mr. Natsume didn't drink a drop of tea on the night in question, and that you used the tea that was left in his cup to make your fake coins. But that's not possible. You tell him, Naruhodo. How? Chop logic. Chop logic? Don't know what that means. What is this, ye clad fiend? Then again, I don't know half of what he means, of what this guy says. So, par for the course. The two teacups from the scene, one used by the victim and the other by the defendant, have a clear difference between them. One that represents incontrovertible proof.
Incontrovertible?
What difference? Look at the inside of the cups. Just here, there's a clearly visible ring. Yes, I see it. Yes, a tea ring. Commonplace enough? What's your point?
Indeed, such stains occur all too readily when one leaves tea in the cup for a while.
And yet, Mr. Natsume's cup has no such ring.
Good lord, you're right. It's completely clean.
And prithee, sir, what makest thou of it? Do I need to spell it out for you, Mr. Shamspear? Exactly what Mr. Natsume told the court yesterday. The Japanese saying he quoted. Drink.
Tea? While it's hot.
That's right. Yes. The jittery Mr. Natsume was true to his usual self that night. And drank his tea in no time. Okay, so I guess there was tea in it, but he drank it immediately, and therefore it didn't. That's true. I guess the tea ring would only appear if it was sitting in the cup for a while. I was thinking there was just nothing in it to begin with. I don't know if you've seen that expression. Oh, damn it all. If, as you claim in your testimony, he didn't touch a drop of his tea, a ring would have developed on the inside of his cup as well, after the several hours the tea was left standing. But, shut up. In short, Mr. Shamspear, you clearly lied to the court. Get thee to a nunnery!
Objection!
I'm so bored. My throat is parched. As a rule, I fill my hallowed chalice up to 7 times during any one trial. Yes, we've seen it in person. You might want to keep that information to yourself. Just maybe. Here we go. Yet on occasion, tedium distracts me and I pour more times than I intended until the bottle is dry. Your drinking habits are fascinating, but irrelevant. On the contrary, they illustrate the fickleness of human memory. That's kind of anecdotal at best. To William Shamspear, who is totally not guilty of anything. Yes, my liege? Though you previously stated that you made the coins of ice from the leftover tea in the accused cup, could it be that you were perhaps mistaken? Okay, you're leading the witness. Very much so. Eh? Could it be that? Yes. Perhaps there was some tea remaining in the small teapot left at the scene.
Smash!
A fact that had vanished from your memory until now. Oh, now that I think of it, that is exactly what happened. Faith, my liege, thou art a magician. For verily, 'tis as though thou hast seen with thine own eyes that night. Oh gosh. What? Come again? Forsooth, I was mistook, naturally. I did plan to use tea from the Japanese fellow's cup, but lo, when I looked, 'twas empty. And thus did I use the dregs that festered in the teapot, as my liege did suggest. Okay, buddy. And you just suddenly remembered now that you made a mistake before? Are we supposed to believe that?
Objection!
Yeah, that doesn't sound proper at all. Or doesn't sound accurate, rather. Perhaps memories are imperfect, my learned friend. Sorry, people's memories are imperfect, my learned friend. Which is why we rely on evidence instead. Okay, so give us evidence. You just were like, could this have happened? And he's like, oh yes, that's what happened. But in any case, it makes no difference. The victim's most recent testimony tells us 2 things of note. Firstly, that the poison was put into the victim's teacup only. And secondly, that this spoiled cup was not to secure the source of the insufficient ice coins that have bewitched this court.
The prosecution makes a fine summary of the facts.
Furthermore, the testimony remains valid and in full support of the established facts. In other words, the cloak comes off.
Huzzah!
The inconsistency claimed by the defense simply does not exist. No!
What does this mean then?
I do declare, it means there's no issue with the gas thief's testimony.
Apart from the bit about the thieving gas, obviously.
My lord, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I do solemnly swear that I am up to no good. I mean, that I'm innocent. Ignore that last part. After I did dine at Grubb's Grubbery Ale House that night. Naught did pass my lips, but the black tea given me by the Japanese, whose back be stooped as low as death.
And on what did you dine, sir?
Why, I did partake in my favourites, a broth as would be called soup, and a leaf as would be called salad.
Okay, so you drink soup.
It could have been in the soup, sir. As insalubrious a menu as the establishment where it was served. But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. Willingly would I suffer what punishment to seem fit to serve a wicked thief of gas, but I pray ye wise and noble fellows ne'er forget the simple truth. That would be one thing, and this be another. Pointing! Come again. Jurors all, your humble servant Shamspeare doth entreat you, punish the Japanese fellow for his sins. My lord! Is that Natsume? Sounds like a Natsume thing. Oh. Or it's him.
If I might speak, my lord. Yes, Mr. Foreman. I believe we may have been duped by that rotten defense lawyer.
Okay. Let's hear it. By me? I do declare you may be right. Okay, maybe the I do declare thing is not something I came up with. She said it twice now, so I guess that's her catchphrase that I forgot. We all know the wife there was making coins of ice to keep himself warm. The wife, the waif? You English people and your lingo.
But this lawyer lad says he's stealing gas. He deserves to do the poison, eh? He's been leading us up the garden path. That's what he's been doing.
I really never said anything like that, but go off.
But what we just heard from the victim there has opened our eyes again. We've reached a decision this time, and we won't be swayed from it. He didn't present any evidence at all and was directed by the prosecutor, but that's enough. The court acknowledges the position of the jury, Foreman, and we will duly hear the jury's findings.
What? No! You can't yet! We've only been recording for 32 minutes. It's not time to call it.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your decisions now.
Guilty.
Guilty.
What a surprise.
Guilty.
You suck, jurors.
Guilty.
Democracy my ass!
Boom! I hereby declare the jury to be in one accord.
Oh, happy day. Don't be dancing yet, Shamspeare. It's too early for that. Van Zyke knows what's coming. How is this happening? My lord, the defense asserts its right to carry out a summation examination. Oh, good God, not this again.
Very well. The court upholds the defense's right.
Typical. My learned friend is unable to accept the obvious truth. I like how he, says that, every time. He's like, oh, dear God, it only worked the last 10 times. Why is he doing it again? Obvious. The answer is obvious, my friend.
This trial will therefore enter its second summation examination immediately. Jurors, the court calls upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime of which he is charged.
Let's do this. Judicial findings. The jurors' contentions. What do you got to say to me?
I'm a man of logic, me, and having considered all the evidence,
of which there is none,
the defendant must logically be guilty. Or the defendant must logically be guilty.
I do agree that the gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid paying. The stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gases. Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes.
Truth be told, the team my wife serves up for me is a little sketchy at times.
If nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? No other explanation, huh?
I do feel that perhaps personal opinion about gas and its supply has influenced decisions somewhat, but we'll proceed.
But, yeah, exactly,
but never mind.
No, you really should mind. The truth is, our counter-argument wasn't as unassailable as we'd hoped. And Mr. Shampspeare was poisoned. There can be no doubt of that. Then, how are we supposed to turn this around? I think we need to establish the method by which Mr. Shampspeare was actually poisoned. Okay, based on what Shampspeare said earlier, he said he had salad and soup. Most likely, the soup is the obvious one. I mean, if there was dressing on the salad, I guess it could be mixed in the dressing. So there are options, but my guess would be the soup, if it's one of those things. Our only hope is to demonstrate that to the court incontrovertibly. But that's surely almost impossible at this stage. If we don't manage it, though, Mr. Natsume will be found
Guilty. No delays, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination.
Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. Okay, so consider all the evidence. The defendant must logically be guilty. Okay. Gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid paying. That has nothing to do with anything. The stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gas is. Okay, I mean, he said it right there, that the gas... I mean, I said the gas was an option as well. Okay. Truth be told, the tea my wife serves up for me is a little sketchy at times. If nothing else, pass the victim's lip, then... Okay, this is... Yeah, let's press him on this. Does that mean that if the victim could be shown to have ingested something else, you change your leaning? Sorry. What's that now? Oh, this thing popped up, so... I have a feeling somebody's gonna react. Oh, I was just saying, if the victim did actually eat or drink something else on the night... What's the matter with you? Sorry? I said if nothing else passed the victim's lips that night. There's no other explanation, is there? Haven't been listening to me at all. I feel there's an English expression about a pot and a kettle that's appropriate here. Compared to the other jurors who don't even appear to have anything to say about the case at all. It would seem that this elderly gentleman has been listening to the proceedings far more intently. Yes, when he's able to actually hear. I suppose the trouble is... He has selective hearing, but what are you gonna do? Exactly. But still, this juror may well be the key to the breakthrough that we so desperately need. Okay, so I have a feeling... Okay, so I have a feeling I'm gonna have to press the other people. And then he's gonna be the one who interjects, and I'm gonna, you know... And he's gonna say, like, no, that's wrong, or something, or... We'll see. This is hopeless. There's no way for me to appeal to these people. I do think that the only way we shall overcome this difficult situation is by exposing the way in which Mr. Shampspeare was really poisoned. We have to prove that it happened some other way, and not via Mr. Natsume's tea. Yes, I know. The trouble is, I have absolutely no idea how it did happen. Mr. Naruhodo, I wonder perhaps there's something you might have forgotten? Oh? Like what? It's important to watch everyone involved and pursue people if they react to something someone else says. Yes, I'm on it. If you'd like me to remind you exactly what I mean, I'd be more than happy to, of course. Once again, Sozuki-san's fate is entirely in my hands here. I probably owe it to my client to hear any advice my assistant may be able to offer. So perhaps I ought to let Suzuto-san remind me then again. I don't need it, but I'll go with it anyway. When a particular juror is talking, the other jurors will be listening, naturally. Most of the time, when people are speaking themselves, they are careful not to give away more than they want to. But when they're listening to others speak, they tend to be less guarded. Yes, that's very true. So if you see people reacting strangely in an unguarded moment, you must pursue them to find out why. Here, take a look at this, Mr. Naruhodo. When you press jurors about their assertions, a marker appears in the center of the screen. Yes, I saw it. By using the left and right button, you can move the marker and see how other jurors are reacting to what's being said. Or, you know, you can just turn your head. And if you find a particular juror seems to be reacting oddly, you can pursue him or her about it. By catching people off guard, you may be able to glean new and potentially useful information. Yes, alright, I've got it. Press, and then if something seems odd, slide the marker with my head, left and right. I'm trying to translate it into non-fourth wall breaking terms to see if one of the other jurors is having an unusual reaction. If so, pursue that juror. Oh, if so, pursue that juror. Okay, I didn't need that. I knew exactly how to do this. Okay, I'm gonna go to this guy because he mentioned that gas can poison you.
Hold it!
Could we please talk about the poison rather than the gas, do you think, sir? Well, if you like. I mean, be honest. I take poison over gas every time. You take poison? Really? What I mean is, poison can only poison you. It doesn't explode, does it? Goodness me, what are you talking about? Set him straight, please, lawyer man. Well, it's certainly true that poison isn't prone to exploding. But I think you'll find poison also can't light or heat up a room. Boom. Ah! I hadn't thought of that! You're right! I hadn't considered that at all! You dingus. Young lawyer man. Yes? You have a good head on your shoulders. We could use someone like you as our company's legal representative. Well, I wasn't expecting to pick up more business in the middle of a trial. That's for sure. Anyway, the point is, I haven't had the best experience with gas companies in the past. Okay, that was pointless. Let me see what...
Hold it!
You mean it's poisoned?
That's right. It's happened a tidy few times now. This is most troubling indeed. It's always days like this when I don't get any wages. I get in at tea time, see? And I see her doing it, my wife. She gets that devilish look on her face, and she slips some white powder into my cup.
And you drink it anyway? You sure it's not sugar?
I was brought up proper, I was. If someone gives you a cuppa, you drink it.
And what happened to you? What did it taste like?
It was god-awful, believe you me.
Oh, okay.
Salty as all hell.
You idiot. Then I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea was salt, maybe? You idiot?
No. So, she doesn't even care enough to poison me properly. Eh? Unbelievable. Let's move on, please. For God's sake.
Okay, so far nothing. Okay, let's go back to the beginning.
Hold it!
Hold it. All the evidence, you say?
That's right, and there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing at the Japanese man with the big mustache.
Says the Englishman with the bigger mustache. Yeah, exactly. Which means we need to show the man some new evidence to make him change his mind. If only we had that kind of evidence. Don't worry. This summation examination has barely started, really. Perhaps there'll be a shift in the situation that shows an existing piece of evidence in a new light. Let's hope so. To start with, though, I need to find some way out of this deadlock. You gotta just keep pressing people until, the old man reacts. This isn't the time or the place to be discussing the price of gas, madam. But really, think of the injustice. Air is a gas, and air is free. Why should Altamont gas cost money? It makes my blood boil. I can feel myself becoming more ruthless than ever. This isn't the time or the place to be ruthless either. If I might interject here. Ah, yes, madam? It seems my fellow juror takes issue with the price our company charges for gas. But it's precisely because of the thieves like this man that the cost goes up. Oh, what a beastly man. That unkempt mustache, those hunched shoulders, poisoning tea and stealing gas. Utterly unforgivable. No, Mr. Natsume is the one who's been stealing gas. Keep up, lady. I'll thank you not to go adding on more crimes. That's slander. Mr. Natsume hasn't been poisoning tea either. Well, anyway, I've quite made up my mind. It's as made up as the price of gas. Okay, there's only one person.
Hold it!
If you don't say anything worthwhile, then I don't know what to do. Can we please refrain from all this talk of gas? There's an all-out attack underway here, in case you hadn't noticed, against my company's gas. I have noticed. Enough surprised to sit here and take it, am I? I don't think so. She's really buzzing now. Aha! I get it, Naruhodo. Bee puns. All I've heard about our wonderful fuel is explosions and poisonings. What about electricity, What about getting electrocuted? What about that? A little explosion here and there is nothing in comparison.
Any explosion could hardly be described as nothing, madam.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Nevertheless, the theft of our gas is deplorable.
My point exactly. But the gas thieves aren't even the worst of our enemies. We have far more devious reprobates to contend with on a daily basis, you know? More devious? Who, madam? Other gas companies, of course. Other gas companies? Not quite what I was expecting. Where are you going with this? We generate gas and we deliver it to our customers fair and square.
Indeed, nobody is questioning that, madam. Altamont is an exemplary gas company.
But there are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas at all. What? But if they don't have any gas, how do they go about selling it to people? You wouldn't think it possible, would you? But they steal our gas, you see, and sell that.
They steal your gas? How on earth is such a thing possible?
Spies? Gas companies like ours deliver gas to people's homes via a network of pipes. But these devious reprobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert gas into their own rotten pipes. Interesting. Then they make a contract with the household supplied by those pipes, and take money for the precious gas that's rightfully ours, without us even knowing. They're diverting gas into their own pipes illegally. What a brazen form of theft. Indeed, when we visit customers' houses to collect the money from their meters, we always have to check whether or not one of these devious companies has been up to its tricks. Oh, what do you got to say for yourself, juror number 4? What do I do? Oh, pursue.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Slam. Do you have something to say about that, juror number 3? Wait, didn't I say juror number 4? Okay, whatever. Oh no, I guess he is juror number 3. My mistake. Oh golly, you mean me? I'm terribly sorry. I was just thinking to myself. I really did catch him off guard there. Thinking about what the lady next to you was saying, correct? Well, yes. Give me the deets. I need some new evidence. I just got a little riled up about it recently, you see? Go on. An Altamont gas worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipe work. We need to ask for your cooperation while we carry out a secret check of your property, sir, the fellow said. So we let him in, and do you know what he did? I'm, afraid I have no idea. That's why I'm asking you. Please tell us. Hee hee. He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall. Then he grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it. What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away company secrets there. What would that do? Oh, please, everybody knows. But it was very nearly the death of me, I can tell you. What do you mean? I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connect their customers to our pipe network. Yes, but how does blowing into the pipes come into it? Obviously, there's gas in the pipes, and it's at a fairly low pressure. By blowing air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. Okay. And if you do that, any light connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment.
Ah, I see. In other words, if upon blowing into the pipe, the lights of an adjacent property that has no contact with your company flicker, you can know that these devious scoundrels have been meddling with the pipes.
Interesting. Exactly, my lord. That's it in a nutshell. It's the reason why we have teams of workers going around neighborhoods to investigate which lights flicker. The trouble is, the particular worker who came by to my house didn't know the strength of his own breath. Okay, because if I'm remembering correctly, don't the lights flicker in Mr. Garadev's like building or his room specifically? He said that that's how he knew what was going on. If I remember that correctly, or if I'm understanding that correctly, that's how he's able to know like what's going on in the different rooms or who's there and who's not. He blew down the pipe with all his might, and you can guess what happened, can't you? Well, if he blew hard, then wait, you mean... That's right, the light didn't just flicker, they went out. Along with the stove, gas started pouring into the house. What a disaster. Okay, I'm starting to see some pieces now. So again, we don't know if this is what happened to Shamspear. But could this have to do... I mean, we know that there was a gas leak that killed Duncan. And, you know, there's a good chance maybe something similar killed Shamspear. Or, you know what I mean. Almost killed Shamspear. So I wonder if that's the trick to it. One of the other gas companies or competitors did this thing. Blew into the pipe and caused the gas leak? I don't know. We'll find out. The gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard. So the flames went out. I'm afraid I yelled at the fellow. Are you trying to kill us all? I said. Sounds about right. So by disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed gas pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network of pipes. And then when the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room. That sounds dangerous. Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps... Yes, this is almost certainly the clue that we've been hoping for. Bam! Juror number 3, the defense requests that you amend your statement to include that information. Oh, well, if you like. I don't mind. Well, I do. That's our company's secret method of identifying the rogues that try to diddle us. Diddle away. Like I said, madam, it's widely known already.
Very well. Juror number 3, you will amend your statement accordingly.
Yes, my lord. Although I'm not really sure what the point of all this is. There is a point, good sir. Blow too hard to a gas pipe and you extinguish everything in the house, and then you're in real trouble. Okay. Okay, it's gotta be. So obviously I think it's gotta be pit these two together against each other. Right?
Objection.
Yeah, buddy. Those two statements clearly contradict each other. What?
Good gracious. To whose statements do you refer, counsel?
Juror number 6. Did you hear what juror number 3 just said?
Eh? What? Yes, of course. I heard him mumbling about something or other.
There is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Mr. Natsume's tea did, in a manner of speaking, pass the victim's lips on the night in question.
What? What explanation?
I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the wall light at the scene? Wait, let me see something. Let me see something quickly. Aha! That light. That's gotta be it. That would make perfect sense. Okay. So they pulled the light off the wall. I guess this would be Mr. Shamspear himself. I mean, I don't know who would do this. It's in his room, right? And then he did the gas thing. He blew into it. I guess to you know, maybe he's the one stealing the gas. I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the wall light at the scene? To see if there were any traces of poison there? I was curious to see what your floundering would result in this time, but the mouth of a gas pipe, Scotland Yard, have enough to do without exploring such irrelevance. Not so fast. It is I. What a piece of work is a man. What are you trying to say, Mr. Shamspear? That you're full of crap. What speakest thou? Prithee, is it not strange and strange? That is what I say to thee, sir. I thought I'd been quite clear, but let me put it another way. The striking iron could have been on the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. Oh, And that is how the poison came to enter your body. Oh, okay, okay. I didn't consider that specifically.
Good lord.
Oh, look, it's us up there. I mean, I'm not used to seeing us up there. In that view.
Are they tasty, them gas pipes? Is that what you're saying?
Or is the gentleman suggesting that the poor man was so desperately hungry, he tried to fill his belly with gas? Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss scene with him, hmm? For shame, madam, speaking thy fancy. I assure you, I'm not such a buffoon that I would have to kiss pipes.
Objection!
There goes another chalice. This is no summation or examination. This is a farce. The prosecution will not stand for any more of the learned Nipponese friend's conjecture. Say what? To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to replace his lips to the pipe that feeds it, he would have to be a contortionist. These are empty assertions. I believe there was a box underneath the, where the lamp was, where the light was. These are empty assertions. There's no possible proof that the man did as you say.
Objection!
It's true, I have no proof that Mr. Shamspeare put his lips to the pipe. However, I can say with some certainty that on multiple occasions, Mr. Shamspeare has been doing something in front of that lamp on his wall. Something dirty. I mean, never mind, moving on. And I have evidence to prove it.
Alright, you got your attention, lad. I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself.
So would I. Let's see this evidence then. It was the one I just pointed to. Now that I've got the jury's ear, I need to make this opportunity count.
Slam!
This is the proof that, time and time again, Mr. Shamspeare stood in front of his gas lamp. Right over here. Yeah, just want to make sure it's the right thing.
Take that!
Take that, sir. What the? These are... Wait, what are they called? Yes, skin prints that were found at the scene.
Skin friends, counsel? I've never heard of such things.
See, the question is it going to be like the blood evidence, you know, from the last game, the colored blood, where they're going to be like this isn't an actual thing yet that we do, so it can't be used?
The Justice Ministry is currently assessing whether or not to permit fingerprints as evidence in court, however.
Okay. My lord, this is an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective Mr. Herlock Sholmes. One of many. It reveals all of the places that Mr. Shamspeare touched in his room.
Oh, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, that's black magic, isn't it?
Sure.
Well, if anyone could invent something like this, it's that great Sholmes fellow, that's for sure.
I agree. This month's edition of Engineering Thumbs was quite fascinating. We found skin prints in many places that you would expect. On the table, on the costumes. Everywhere. Even on the floor. It took me 10 minutes to find it, but it was there. However, Mr. Shamspeare also appears to have been touching some very unexpected places in his room. For example, here. And there's lots of handprints there.
Around the hanging picture there, indeed, multiple handprints appear to be visible.
Well, I wonder. Could he have been appreciating the artwork, perhaps? No. You wouldn't have to get that close. At first, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are. And you would find yourself directly in front of... Ah! I don't believe it. The lamp. The gas lamp. Aha! It's all coming together. Though the reason why isn't immediately obvious, it's clear that Mr. Shamspeare has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp.
Right. What have you been up to, you nut?
Are you talking to me? I asked the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statement. Me? What did I say? You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker. And now if you'll recall juror number 3's statement. Oh, would it be that he blew too hard, the lights and everything, you know, the power and stuff went out, and that's why you couldn't use the water? What? Me now? How dare you use my own words against me? When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all the lights and the gas stove to go out, and gas to start leaking into the rooms. Obviously, that incident was an accident. However, the simple fact is, if Mr. Shamsphere would have blown hard into the gas pipe here in his room, he could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will.
Crikey!
Are you suggesting that the man purposefully caused the gas to...
Objection!
And why would he do that? That is the question. Whilst I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during a summation examination, I couldn't care less. I must toast my learned friend's utter disregard for the letter of the law.
What is the meaning of this, Lord Van Zykes?
This curious photograph, or whatever it is, presented by the defense, the so-called skin prints. Clearly, that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case. That's what I was afraid of. But it's an exciting new forensic technique, developed by a great detective. It's nothing. Oh, there goes another chalice. What is that, number 4 now? A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands. I mean, you're right, but...
Certainly even research of this nature by the esteemed Mr. Sholmes cannot be recognized by the court as formal evidence.
Okay, I'm half expecting Sholmes will appear randomly at some point to help us, but... Please, my lord, if I may... Miss Usato? It was not the defendant's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wish to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene, as a tool by which to explain a possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Is that gonna fly? Oh, Van Zykes is alerted. And if the trial were to come to an end now, we should never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure the jurors would agree. Aha, we got their attention now. That's right, they haven't changed their verdict yet. You're right! Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3. Oh yes, I do declare the great detective's investigation results sound absolutely fascinating. And I want to hear what this shady actor fellow has to say about those shady handprints. Okay, we need more than 2 though. Oh, are we gonna continue with the,
What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy.
Well, I did say it, didn't I? And I don't like to break a promise.
No, wait! You heard his lordship. It's not fair dinkum, fair dinkum.
Okay, we're even. We still need another, right?
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. If just one more juror changes his or her mind, Mr. Natsume's trial will have to continue.
Thank you, Miss Usato, but I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh no, it was you who identified the clue after all. This is very much your success.
Oh, look at him. He's sweating. He's sweating. We got you. We got you numbered. We got your number. That's the expression. Why, Mr. Shamsphere? You seem to be losing your composure, even more than before. Just one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it!
Very well. Continue, counsel.
Okay. Okay, so we already did you. I'm very interested in the results of the great detective investigation at the scene. We're the ones who decide if the evidence is worthy of consideration or not. Us, the jury. I don't believe in breaking promises. We can't come to a decision while so much is up in the air. Okay, I don't see his thing having to do with anything. And I'm trying to think. Do we just press him again? Do we start pressing him again? Because I don't think any evidence has changed, or we didn't even get any new evidence, right? I'm just looking at the gas meter. Spencer's gas was set after a coin is inserted. The attached coin box sports a very strong lock. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, because... Well, what I can do is I really don't think it has anything to do with this guy. Sorry, I'm just... Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver down the city and maintain the pipes. Does that contradict anything? I don't know. I'm gonna press all three of these guys again.
Hold it!
Oh, all the evidence, you say?
That's right. There's no room for doubt. It's all pointing at the Japanese man with the big mustache.
Says the English. Okay. Now it's doing the same dialogue, but it's not letting me skip it this time. So I don't know if that means that maybe an interruption's coming up. But the defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events on the night in question. Yeah, there we go. What do you make of that?
What? Your so-called skin prints?
Okay, there we go. It's an exciting new forensic investigation technique, developed by the great detective himself. The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And if Mr. Shanfier had indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe on the night in question, slam! It can't be denied that there's a possibility that's where the poison was.
Well, yes. I won't deny that it's playing on my mind. But as the prosecution rightly says, we should pay no heed to unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides...
Yes?
Even if the fellow has been up to some mischief with the gas pipe dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he got up to the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it?
Oh. Suppose that's true?
If you can't make your case better than that, I'm afraid I can't change my stance.
If you do make a very valid point, sir. What? That's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty. No. Wait. Calm down. Can they do that? Can they just immediately, like... On second thought.
Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? So it's time to prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohorts can, that is.
Just leave our nationality out of this, please. Don't be racist now. Mr. Naruhodo, if we can't establish our position, I'm afraid the jurors that changed their minds before may very well change them back. What wishy-washy jury we have. What can I do? Is there any more proof I can give here? Can I show that Mr. Shakespeare really did blow down the gas pipe on the night in question? Oh, shoot. I can't prove it. I can present evidence. Mr. Shakespeare really did blow down the gas pipe on the night in question. Okay, we can't see that in this picture. Yeah, I don't think there's anything. We know that's the water from the coins. I don't think this has anything to do with anything, right? I mean, I pointed out in one of the other episodes when I was looking at this picture, but I don't think that this is like under the gas, so that had nothing to do with it. Yeah, I don't know. I doubt it's this I doubt it's the gas meter. Well, it could be. Is there anything about the gas meter itself, based on what we know? I don't think so. We already know about that. But that had to do with the water. I mean, we already presented this, right? There's no further evidence. I'm gonna go with... I have supporting testimony? I mean, I could say I can't prove it, and then we could, press the other two guys, maybe? Let's try that. Well, I'm not in a position to prove it, yet.
As I thought, I had a feeling that would stump you Japanese.
We are capable of independent thought, you know. I think we need to gather some more material to bolster our position, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, that's what I was trying to imply by saying we can't prove it yet.
Thank you, counsel. On with the examination, please.
Okay, yeah, so let's press the others. The other two over here.
Hold it!
Okay, so this one is letting me skip it. Alright. We always have to check whether or not one of these devious companies has been up to its tricks. It's not letting me skip anymore. I had no idea. It's almost unbelievable. It might seem unbelievable to you, but it's happening all the time, right here in the capital. It's very difficult selling something you can't see, you know? Very difficult indeed.
Thank you, that will do. Clearly, this is a very involved subject, but I feel we have just digressed rather too much already.
I concur. Though if my learned friend wishes to become an expert in gas, I believe the subject will suit him well. To a new career in nothingness. That's rude. Thank you so much.
You will turn your attention to the next juror's assertion, please, counsel.
Okay, so that provided nothing. What about you? What do you have to say?
Hold it!
Okay. This seemingly didn't have to do with anything, but we'll find out in a moment. Okay. I really don't think I have evidence, so I have supporting testimony? No, in truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory. However, there is witness testimony that substantiates it.
What's that? Testimony?
This is incredible! Whose testimony? Yes, it's all connected. Everything is linked. A person whose testimony revealed details about the gas in the Garrett residence that night, namely... Okay... Ooh. I mean, Mr. Garadev himself? Did he say something about it? Well, Mr. Foreman, does that convince you? No, I'm guessing not. Phew. I don't think he was listening.
Rest assured, counsel, I shan't let such nonsensical answers go without penalty.
Ugh. Thought I got away with it. A witness who spoke about the gas on the night in question. Yes, there was someone. Okay, at least that confirms I was on the right track. That's what I thought too. But I obviously chose the wrong person. Oh boy, so now I gotta remember? Okay, well now, okay, we know we're on the right track, so let's think it through. Who would have... I mean, there's Natsume. I don't think he would have. It said it said... I'm trying to think. I might have also misunderstood, because it said in the Garadev household, but I mean... Maybe they just mean the Garadev building. I don't think Shamfu himself said anything. Obviously not Duncan Ross. I honestly just kind of don't remember, unfortunately, like when was it said? Was it this guy? He says he's a witness to the incident. Did he mention a gas leak? I mean, it would make sense. He works for Altamont Gas. He might have let it slip. I don't think Shamsphere said anything about that. I thought Mr. Garadev, because it's his house. I mean, Natsume himself could have, maybe? I'm gonna try the worker. Guy. Let's give it another go. Every time I'm wrong, I'm gonna have to go through this dialogue, though. Like, I have a handful of ideas of who it could be, so I just gonna have to go through them, because I genuinely just don't remember specifically who mentioned the gas at all. Oh, yeah, it says the Garadev residence, so I think they mean the house. Let's see if I'm right. This guy?
Take that!
Please? I don't know. Ah, no. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do just to save me time? I'm gonna save right before I give my my answer. That way I don't have to go through the dialogue every time, because that's the annoying part. Okay, I saved right here. I just don't want to have to go through this lengthy dialogue again and again and again to get to this point. Okay. Let's think. Okay, so my other options, it's not Olive Green. It wouldn't be, I don't think it would be any of these guys. I mean, it would have to be somebody more directly involved with the case. I mean, was it her? Like, I don't know if it was something that just happened, like, during this that we have to... I don't know. Maybe Mr. Shamfi himself said something?
his dialogue is honestly so like flowery that I could have easily missed it. Mr. Natsume himself might have said something. Oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah, Mr. Natsume, duh. Right? He's always talking about the suffocating feeling he gets. Right? I'll be pissed if I'm wrong. There we go. Okay, that was... Okay, I only got 2 wrong guesses, but... Once it just clicked. It just clicked out of nowhere. Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant, Mr. Suzuki Natsume himself. And it's funny, I'm saying like, oh, I just really don't remember, and then once it clicked, I'm like, oh, duh. Of course.
The defendant?
At the very beginning of the proceedings here in court yesterday, Mr. Natsume said the following. My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. Even on that fateful night it happened, when I returned from Mr. Shamspeare's room. I lit my gas stove, climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me. Yep, that suffocating feeling was the gas. On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence or not? Good golly. So that Shamspeare fellow blew air into the gas pipe to make the man's stove go out on purpose?
Now, hold your horses there. What would he do that for?
Oh? Were you maybe trying to kill him? Did it backfire? Mr. Foreman.
What the? What is it, man?
We cannot allow judgment to be passed whilst this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have conclusive evidence yet. However, you must surely agree, there is more to this case than meets the eye.
Ah! You got me there. Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, I'm a man of logic first and foremost.
Yay! There we go. That's our guy. Let the trial continue. As for jurors leaning towards not guilty, my lord, we've overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue. That's right. Point at him. Point at every single one of them, Naruhodo.
As the defense has rightfully indicated, the summation examination has concluded with a majority of jurors altering their decisions. 2 jury members now called guilty, 4 now called not guilty. Therefore, the jury's opinion is conflicted and in accordance with the law of this land. I hereby order the continuation of this trial.
Success!
Mr. William Shamspeare?
My lord, how can thy humble Shamspeare serve thee?
What say you in response to the various revelations made during the summation examination?
So God amend me, I do solemnly swear that I am up to no good again. Why do I keep saying that? I recall aught of either, the lamp or the pipe.
Right. For your handprints have made a tidy mess all over the wall there. How do you explain that, eh?
Whoopsie doodles. I just can't keep hold of these chalices and bottles and whatnot. I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom have been sullied enough already, juror number 5.
Who, me?
Yeah, you're kind of useless. As I went to some pains to point out already. A foot from the self-proclaimed detective's toy had no place in a British court of law.
Ah!
As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hand against the wall, remains, at this time, unestablished conjecture. You would all do well to remember that. Ah!
Objection.
Slam!
But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order the mouth of the gas pipe feeding that lamp in Mr. Shamspeare's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there,
Just do it!
what appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. You will recall that in order to check for the presence of poison in the tea, some remnants of tea were Some remnants of tea were required. Yes, okay, there's probably nothing left there. Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that even if poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have completely evaporated by now, making any analysis impossible. Ah, I didn't think of that.
In any case, counsel, I failed to see what could possibly have motivated the man to do as you describe. Why on earth would this fellow have wanted to blow air into the gas pipework where he lived?
To commit murder. There's only one possibility that I can think of, and that is to use the leaking gas to commit murder. That's right. You want to kill Mr. Natsume.
Order! Order! Counsel! That's a serious accusation. Precisely whose life do you propose this man was plotting to end?
The answer couldn't be simpler. Now we've unraveled the mystery this far. Mr. Shamsphere wanted to end the life of... It's gotta be Mr. Natsume again, right? Just want to make sure. Who else would it be? The only other person it could be is Mr. Garadev, I guess, but... I'm gonna go on a limb here. Especially since he's the one who almost suffocated to death. If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing.
I live out in these parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove lit is pretty much suicide. You'd freeze to death in no time.
Mr. Garadev, the landlord, has a large fireplace in his part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shamsphere was trying to end.
Outrageous!
I'm talking, of course, about the defendant. The only connection I can make as to why is we know Shamsphere wanted that room specifically, so we must have some connection. It must have some connection to Selden, obviously, since we have that whole story, that whole plot point, if you will, or that whole section that we don't know anything about, really. Mr. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. He's the victim this man was trying to murder.
Good gracious!
Objection!
What do you have to say to this? Oh, he's like, I could slam my fist too, you know? The accused is actually the aggrieved. Interesting. However, the fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged. Namely, that the accused is the aggressor here. What? How can you still claim that? I mean, there's no other way to explain it. Somebody poisoned him. Let us indulge your fancies for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison in the mouth of the gas pipe. The question that then arises is who put it there. You're saying Natsume is the only one who had the opportunity to. Who did put it there? The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supply and his intent to kill.
Yes, that would indeed seem logical. If the assailant were unaware, how would he or she have known to lace the end of the gas pipe with poison?
So now we must ask, how could anyone have known of Mr. Shamsphere's murderous designs? Ah, you mean to suggest... Naturally, the still possible answer to that question couldn't be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known. What? In other words, the person who put the poison on the gas pipe in what was a clear retaliatory attack can only have been the accused, Mr. Suzuki Natsume. Ah! Whatever Mr. William Shamsphere may or may not have contrived to do, he was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. And the only person who could possibly have perpetrated that attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. He could have called the police. I don't think it was him. Obviously. I have reason to... a little biased. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now that a clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established, that suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend? I mean, it's sound logic. Arg! I'm a pirate. Well, that sucks. It's got the jury rattled up. Or got them talking.
Settle down, everyone.
How did he manage to turn that around on me so rapidly? Mr. Naruhodo, you must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leaning against us again. Like for the 5th time now. And this may be our last chance to gain the advantage. Look at that face. He's had it. What advantage? Well, it would seem that somebody put poison on the gas pipe in Mr. Shamspeare's room. So we must name that person now and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt. You mean, name the true culprit? I know it might sound impossible, but if we fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed, once and for all. As it happens, one possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence, the poison, it's all pointing to a particular person now. The prosecution called for the jury to consider their leanings again. I trust we'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman. Okay, so now the only person that's coming to mind, based on that, he specifically said the poison, right? Who else had poison? Miss Olive Green? At first I really had no idea, and I was looking at Meterman, however you say the name of the suspect, just because I remember he was hanging outside, like, outside of the window of the, of Shamsphere, so that was suspicious. But if we're saying who could have poisoned him, there's only one other person we know who had poison on her.
Huh? What? Oh, don't you worry. We know exactly what.
Shut up and listen. Who was that? Was that me? Yes, it was. Hi there. There is one other person who I believe could have been involved in all of this. The true culprit of this crime.
The true culprit?
A term found only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate great detectives, my Nipponese friend. But why not? This farce has gone on for so long already, I see no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax. Oh, it'll be worth it, I hope. Thank you. Tell us, my learned Nipponese friend, what is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? This is all I got. My next guess will be Meterman, I guess? But based on the fact that she had the poison?
Take that!
Is that right? The name of the person responsible for the poison that afflicted Mr. Shamsphere is, I believe, Miss Olive Green. That's right.
Miss Olive Green? Miss Olive Green? Never heard of her. I do feel as though I've heard the name in the recent past, Counsel, but I don't recall where.
Miss Olive Green? The woman from 6 days ago? That's the one. It's all connected. The victim in the recent case of stabbing on Briar Road. An incident for which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add.
Oh, of course, yes. Miss Green. She was left comatose for some 3 days, I believe, but I hear she regained consciousness 2 days ago.
Before the murder took place, or attempted murder? And I hardly need to remind the court that Mr. Shamsphere's poisoning took place. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. We've had 2 investigations and a trial day, so that makes sense. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have a rather fine alibi. True. On the night that the incident occurred, Miss Green was in a hospital unconscious. So on the face of it, it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible, but still. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in the hospital yesterday, and we found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison.
Good gracious, she had poison?
And there is another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court.
Tell me, Mr. Shamsphere.
Hello, my lord, what pray, what be thy bidding?
Are you acquainted with Miss Green?
No, never heard of her, nope. Don't mind me. Judging by the look on Mr. Shamsphere's face, he's a lying son of a bee. I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her. At least, not by name. I mean, could be. As the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution, here I adhere to my word. We will see my learned Nipponese friend's farce through to its conclusion. I appreciate that, buddy. Don't call me that. The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here.
Yes, Miss Olive Green. Indeed, my lord.
1 hour should be sufficient. Okay, I guess we're approaching a to be continued.
Very well, I grant the request.
Excellent. I hope. Yeah, this could all backfire on us.
The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say. But hold at present time, I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We reconvene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned.
Okay. To be continued. Okay, I did that section in 1 episode. Okay then, that concludes the first part. The first part of the second trial. So my guess is part 2 might be it. It seems like we're getting there. So I'm trying to think. The only reason I could think of. Yeah, I mean it would make sense if Shamspear was also the reason that Ross Duncan died, which would make sense because he died by gas poisoning too, right? So if that was the reason, then it would make sense that maybe what's her face knew that, Olive Green knew that, and tried to kill him as revenge because they were in love with each other. It seems, and that leads me to believe maybe he is Selden, or he has a connection to Selden. We know that's got to be it. That's got to be a fact. He wants to get into that room that once belonged to Selden. It could be that this guy is Selden and he somehow lived, and maybe he left something in the room that's incriminating, and he's trying to get it back. I mean, I feel like he could just sneak in there and steal it at some point or something. I don't know, but he wants that room for some reason, and I don't know what that is yet. But it's starting to come together. I'm excited. I can't wait to finish up this trial and see if I'm onto something. But that'll conclude it for today. So thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I really do. I'm enjoying the heck out of this game. I'm kind of glad I'm back to just playing this one game, because especially when you get really into it, it's less time between recordings and all that stuff, which I appreciate. I love. And it's just an interesting game. It's an exciting game. So anyway, if you liked it as much as I do, please go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also hit that notification bell so you know when more videos like this one go up. And of course, share the video and the channel with your friends, family, and loved ones. I really do appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time. So take care, and bye-bye.